Today we have a new book that we're going to read during our reading time. This book is called, read it with me, The Tooth Race. As we read this book, we're going to use the strategies that good readers use to help them remember and understand what's happening in the story. We remember that good readers do these things. They make predictions about what they're reading. They summarize. That means they say in their own words what happened. They ask questions and they clarify words and ideas. If something doesn't make sense, they go back and make sense of the story. We're going to use these strategies as we read The Tooth Race. We're going to start by making a few predictions. Watch while I start to flip through this book with you. I see two boys. They're both pointing to their mouth. I'm predicting they both have a loose tooth. I see the word race, and it makes me think that they are racing to see who will lose their tooth first. Let's start to look through, and we will read to find out. I see these boys are racing, and I see the phrase they loved to race. Now they're pointing to their teeth, and one says, my tooth is loose, and I see someone says, mine is looser than yours. Now I am predicting as I look that they are trying to see who can lose their tooth first. I see that he's eating an apple, and I know that an apple can be crunchy. That can make your tooth come out. Something else that is hard and crunchy is a carrot. Tying a string to the doorknob. That's one way to lose a tooth. Tying a string to the window. I'm going to have you read to find out if, first of all, it's a race to see who loses their tooth first and who loses their tooth first. When you get your book, would you start to read the title and point for me?
The Tooth Race.
The Tooth Race.
Okay, point for me.
Tim and Tom love to race. Sometimes Tim won, and sometimes Tim lost. They even had a tooth that didn't come out. The next time, Tim tied a string to his tooth. He tied the string to a door. Slam! His tooth wiggled some more, but it didn't come out. When Tom tied a string to his tooth,
Let's all turn back to page 12 in our books, and we're going to read the last part of this story together. Would everyone point to the very top where the words begin? Let's read together. Here we go. The next night, Tim's big brother came to help. He took one look at Tim's tooth. Yuck! This tooth is too wiggly for me, he said. I'm not pulling it out. So Tim's tooth didn't. The race was over. Can you guess who won and who wasn't?
Tom.
Let's read. Tim did, and so did Tom. It was a tie. Yes, would you turn your books to the front? I'm going to take it and look at me. When we read, we use our strategies. We made some predictions at the start. We predicted it would be a race to see who lost their tooth first. Were we right? That's what happened? Who lost their tooth first? Both. It was a tie. We are also going to be summarizing, and today we're going to especially practice summarizing. Summarizing is when we say in our own words what happens in the story. Can you tell me what happened at the beginning of this story? They both had loose teeth. In the middle of the story, they both tried
To get their tooth out.
to get their tooth out first. At the end of the story,
They tied.
they crashed into each other and it came out at the same time. Yes. Yes, we can also ask questions about what we read. Emma, I'm going to ask you to roll our question die. Just roll it. Why? We are going to ask a why question together about our story. Let us think. Why? How about why were Tom and Tim having a race? Why are they having a race? McKenna, why?
To see whose tooth can fall out first.
That's right. The last thing we can do is clarify, and I want to show you a word from the story that I clarified when I was reading. This word from the story, I'm going to put it right here. When I came to this word, I knew that if I saw two double consonants in the middle, I could break it right down the middle. And I could say wiggle, wiggled. That's how I clarified this word. We are especially going to go back and think about summarizing. And I have a story map for each of you. I would like you to put your name on the top, and that's how I'll know you're ready to go. The first box in our story map, it says characters. When we summarize a story, we can tell the characters that are in the story. I want you to think, who were the characters in The Tooth Race? Emma?
Tom and Tim.
Tom and Tim. Would you write that in the first box, Tom and Tim? Because they are people's names, they begin with what kind of letter?
Capital.
Capital. Would you check if that's what you did? Tom and Tim. When we summarize a story, we can tell the setting or where the story takes place. I want you to think in your head, where did this story take place? There were a couple places.
School.
School was one. We can write that in the first box. School. Okay. Home is the other. School and home. Did you write those down?
Story problem.
We'll get to that. School and home. School is spelled kind of funny, that S, but the CH is making a K sound. School. S-C-H. What makes that spooky sound? Ooh, sk.
Oh.
S-C-H-O-O. School. Home. We could. Huh. Oh, that's a long O sound, and I want you to look here. If I need to write home, I have some choices. In the word home, it is spelled with a silent E. Home. Would you write that on the second line? Home. H-O.
I know what the silent E is. It comes in between the lines.
It does.
Makes it say O.
It makes it say O.
If it has to be, if it's more than one letter away, it won't make the vowel.
That's right, jumps
sound.
one letter. We're going to hold on, and I'll tell me that in a minute. Let's move on to the story problem. The problem in this story is that they wanted to what? Have a race to see who could lose their tooth first. So we can put that in a sentence. They wanted to race. How the problem was solved? They had a
Bump.
They bumped. They had a tie, didn't they? They crashed into each other, and we can say they had a tie. They had a tie. And in writing the word tie, you could hear that sound I, long I. We have choices, and McKenna, you knew that it's spelled with I-E. Good job, tie. They had a